Entire screen. Yeah, that's good. All right. All right. Are y'all seeing the Monero slide? Well, I mean, talking the UC log here.
Yes.
Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Yes, we can.
Shouldn't have done that. Okay, I'm back. And let's go back to open. Okay, so this is kind of like how I learned about fun things like Bitcoin and Monero and all these little projects. So I used to surf on this Open LDAP site, and I noticed that one guy was posting to the site quite frequently, or not really posting. He was just answering people's questions, and he was doing it so smartly that I took notice of him, so I go to the so I start following these posts, and the guy's name is Howard Chu. Here he is right here, hyc@simus.com, and he does a lot of stuff with Open LDAP, and he actually wrote the database engine that lies behind Open LDAP and actually replaced the Berkeley database that Open LDAP had been dependent on. It's called the Lightning Memory Mapped Database, and he has all kinds of really great technical points, like here, using TempFS is a waste of RAM. Just use LMDB, the Lightning Memory Map Database, on a regular file system and let the system page cache manager take care of memory. Okay, cool. Never heard of that. That's great. This is the guy right here. That's Howard. And a recent post was he's talking about how Linux fsync is a mess, and that he had already thought about all this stuff that Postgres was just now getting around to thinking about, and he brags about that a little bit down here. So anyway, so this is all leading up to something, and he made a post about Monero, recommending that Monero as an alternative to Bitcoin. Both projects are open source, by the way, but he likes Monero, so I was okay. All right, let's go see what I can find out about it. And this is the first site I came to, Bitcoin Talk, and this is about the middle comment is just about what you're going to get with this site. It's not moderated at all, and it's just people yelling at each other. So do not go here. So then, this leads me to Reddit, and then finding, oh, okay, all right. There's a little bit about Monero, and here's the downloads, and blah 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 blah, and then it's got a little bit in here about, oh, they're doing a hard fork. And I'm like, okay, well, what's that all about? So this leads me to here, the Monero website. It's been live for about 4 years now, and POW is the proof of work change, and it turns out that Monero was developed to address this a deficiency in Bitcoin that Bitcoin has, in that it tends to centralize all the money amongst a few people that are really good at mining Bitcoin, and they start talking about ASICs, or let's see, application-specific integrated circuit right here. The way Bitcoin mining has evolved is it's gone from CPUs to GPUs, because GPUs are about 100 times faster than CPUs, and then GPUs have given way to FPGAs, or floating point graphics accelerators.
Field programmable gate array.
Oh, gate programmable gate. Okay. All right. So it's better than GPUs, probably by about 100 times. And then FPGAs gave way to ASICs, or what I just said, application-specific integrated circuits. And the only people that can make ASICs are large companies like Intel. They mentioned some others, but there's only about 3 or 4. Yeah, here we go. Intel, ASMC, Global Foundries. That's it. And you got to be super huge to be able to do an ASIC. But once you make it, then you can use it to mine Bitcoin and Monero like 100 times faster than anybody else can. And then if you have a giant server farm, then you're just going to kill it, and all the money's going to belong to the large corporations. So the Monero. Just like the banks. Yeah, that's right. Just like the banks. So the Monero idea is, well, can we democratize this a little bit and address that deficiency in Bitcoin? And we know that there's always going to be some inherent advantage to buying the bigger and better hardware, but let's make it a linear increase in productivity and not an exponential one, like going from a regular CPU to ASIC is. So that's how they designed the digital currency, and that's how they're doing it. And so it's an open source project. It's been going for 4 years now. Okay, and then so I started looking around and said, okay, well, how do you actually buy one of these things? And you go to coinmarketcap.com and you see, oh, okay, here's all the Monero markets, and there's no less than 78 markets where you can trade XMR, which is Monero, to Bitcoin, or XMR to euros, or let's see, XMR to Dash, or Dash to XMR, or let's see, there's US dollars is up here. So okay, right here, yeah, Bitfinex will do XMR to US dollars for you, but that is a professional trading site, and only the big boys play there. You got to have $10,000 just to get in the door there. And so, yeah, there's all these exchanges. All these things on the left right here are exchanges where you can trade these pairs right here: XMR to Bitcoin, XMR euros, XMR to Ethereum, blah blah blah. And then you go ahead and click on one of these things. Here's even Tux Exchange. So let's go ahead and click on that and see how liquid these markets are. Not very. Like they just replaced it. There's so little traffic here for Emercoin as it's just a question mark. This is $1 traded the entire day. I lost it.
When he said he lost it, he really wasn't kidding.
Well, his battery was on like 2% or something right before that.
So, like, kind of the open secret in the coin industry is that the Chinese government is behind a whole bunch of it, because you essentially need electricity to be free on a lot of these to come out ahead. And the only people who have electricity for free are governments.
Right.
I'm a little sad he didn't hear my joke when he was ragging on his laptop for having 16 gigs of RAM. I said, 16? That's not even enough to run Chrome.
Apparently somebody's using my laptop as a Bitcoin miner.
I figured you just ran out of RAM trying to run Chrome with only 16 gigs.
Your head with the US. Yeah. All right. Here we go. All right. So
You didn't pay us Bitcoin.
yeah. Right. Oh man. All right. So, man, I had a nice graph too. All right. So I'm gonna share. Oh wait. Hold on. Let me get this. Oh, yeah. Share the screen. Share. Here we go. Share. All right.
While you were briefly gone, Ben, I mentioned that it's kind of an open secret that some of the biggest miners is the Chinese government, because to really make hay financially, you need the electricity to be free, and the only people with free electricity are governments.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, so that's, trying to mine is kind of that's kind of a dicey thing. I've never tried to do it. But true story, I gave a presentation about digital currency, specifically Bitcoin 7 years ago at Colalug, and the price then was hovering between $1 and $10. And I told everybody, hey, I don't know if it's going to. It could be a penny tomorrow, and it could be $10 tomorrow. And both things happened on the very next day. So that just kind of shows the volatility that's inherent in this stuff. So yeah, absolutely. We did shoot $1,000 back then thrown into Bitcoin, and I certainly wouldn't be here. Actually, the sad thing is I probably would be here.
So I actually had Bitcoin at one time through a Coinbase wallet. And because the delay in the blockchain transaction is so long now, when you put in an order to sell, it may be a difference of $1,000 a unit by the time it actually transacts on the blockchain.
Yeah, see, and that's the kind of stuff that those finance guys in Wall Street, they take advantage of that 6 ways of Sunday. If you read a book called Flash Boys by Michael Lewis, he details the whole thing, how
Uh-oh.
He must have been running Chrome again.
transaction gets there just 1 millisecond faster than
Whoa. Start over, Ben. You vanished for like 30 seconds.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. So Michael Lewis wrote a book called Flash Boys about the high frequency trading that Wall Street does, and it turns out that one of these guys built a fiber optic pipeline from Chicago and bored straight through mountains in New York to get to the exchange in New York, and with the sole purpose of getting transactions settled, like 1 millisecond faster than their competitors, and that's everything. If you can get there 1 millisecond faster than you on the market,
that's totally a thing. Most of the ISDN subscribers are stock traders because of the low latency on ISDN lines. They've even erected dedicated wireless hops through towers from Chicago to New York to make transactions from the Chicago exchange hit the New York exchange roughly 100 milliseconds faster.
Oh yeah. It is a great book. I mean, you just if you ever thought you could compete with those guys, just read that book, and then you'll be like, okay, yeah, I got to do it another way because I'm not going to beat them on speed. So all right, how do I share? Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna I got to show you this chart. It's so good. Yeah, CoinMarketCap. Here we go. Ta-da! All right, beautiful. Are y'all seeing this chart?
Affirmative.
Okay. All right. Okay. So the Bitcoin chart is in yellow, and the Monero chart is in green. And you will notice that. Oh man, you can't. Yeah, Bitcoin has fared a lot better than Monero, but I can't. I had to. I want to draw a line here. See this line that's kind of under. I mean, it's just an imaginary line, but all these points kind of line up, kind of in a straight line going up and to the right. But look at Monero is even prettier than Bitcoin. I mean, this line just starts right here and then just keeps on going. And look what happened. Monero went from $500 in early January all the way down to $166. And yeah, of course, that is a lot more than what it was. Just 2 years ago, September 2016, it was what, $2.17. So it's had a huge run up, but they have cleared out a whole bunch of suckers that bought in January, buying the hype, and now it's resting right on a support line right here. Now, so it could dive right to 0 too if somebody finds something wrong with Monero. Yeah, I mean, my wife and other people in the room here are like, it's just vaporware, right? Well, I mean, that's true, but people trade money on it all the time, and cash is just paper in your wallet, and what can you really do with it except trade it for other stuff? So it's all what people think, what perceive the value of the money is, and right right now there's been a bit of a clean out on the Bitcoin digital currency side, but oh man, I love that chart. Anyway, but I'm not recommending to buy or sell. I'll say again what I did 7 years ago. It could be a penny tomorrow. It could be $500, and maybe the same thing will happen. Both things will happen. The next day. So anyway, so that's my short little presentation on how I get interested about things. And Howard Chu is definitely a guy I follow on Twitter. I think you should follow him too. He's got some great comments like Intel inside equals Intel inside equals idiot outside. Which is insulting a whole lot of people, but I still thought it was funny. So anyway, does anybody have any experience with Monero besides this cursory look that I just gave? No. Okay. All right. So yeah, they claim to have a better way to democratize digital currency that's better than Bitcoin, and the jury's still out on that. We'll see, but it's good open source project, and the developers got cool nicknames, so maybe that'll help them. But yeah, I love the comments about Nazis on the Bitcoin talk. All right.
Like the last time, were you there when on the cul-de-sac? Someone was mentioning that I don't know who inserted some illegal stuff into Bitcoin blockchain. Stuff like, child pornography or something.
Oh, yeah.
It's stuff that even if you have it and you don't know you have it, you're still guilty for having it.
Yeah, because it's distributed.
Because it's a distributed database. So it's like if you own a Bitcoin, chances are you own part of that child pornography. So
child porn is part of your blockchain.
So it's like, that's kind of like one of the things that could kill cryptocurrencies, because all you need is someone inserting something like that in there, and it's basically that's it. Like everybody that owns that is guilty of.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, because it's part of the blockchain. I mean, once it's part of the blockchain, you can't just take it out.
You can't take it out. You can still do.
Yeah.
That's a valid concern, but like, there's a book by a lawyer written called 3 Felonies a Day, and it's how the average American commits 3 felonies every single day. So, like, if the government wants to get you, they'll find something. Remember, they didn't get Al Capone for being a mafia mob boss; they got it for tax evasion.
Yeah. Right. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of how it is always, even now. It's like they yell that we're investigating someone for something, and it always ends up that they find some other charges during the investigation that you go get charged with.
Yeah. Well, the last thing I want to say about Monero is that they plan to do hard forks twice a year, and they have done them. And the hard forks are what cause the ASICs and the FPGAs to be harder to use, and doesn't make it exponentially easier for the big guys to mine as fast as everybody else does. So twice a year they make it a lot harder to mine Monero with an ASIC than it would have been 6 months earlier. So
what did they change like the algorithm? Yeah.
Well, they actually freeze the blockchain and say, okay, if you're using, like, say, Monero 12 is the current client right now. So they've had 12 versions of Monero. So they have hard forked, 12 times now, or 11 times. Every time they do the hard fork, you can't use the old client anymore. You got to switch over to the new client, and okay, this is the new sheriff in town. So,
yeah, but my only thing with that is like, so you basically have to nonstop move your coins every 6 months because otherwise you lose them. Like where
you have to be.
Yeah, you still get to keep your coins. It's just that to get new ones, you gotta. Yeah.
And to be able to rebuild.
Okay, so I mean, it kind of makes sense then. Someone would actually have to have CPU power to be able to change the computation.
You have to be software to be agile enough to keep up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's like CPU or GPU power.
Well, PLA will do that too.
Yeah. So
building an ASIC.
Yeah, you don't want to be. You don't want to be building an ASIC.
Yeah, but again, they're doing hard forks every 6 months. Being an open source project, all you have to do is monitor what the new release is going to be on, and by the time they come out, you can have your ASIC ready to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That only works with your Intel.
Yeah.
You can have a lab devoted to.
Well, I mean, are you pulling it away from China? I mean, seriously, that they probably have people printing silicon by hand.
Yeah,
and those little.
Well, there's also. There's also a security concern with doing hard forks of the blockchain because, well, okay, now there's 2 blockchains. There's version 11 and there's version 12, and technically you could spend your Monero twice, once in 11 and once in 12, and they go to great lengths saying why you should not do this because it's going to screw everything up. But it seems like bad actors are going to be bad actors. So there's got to be some kind. There's got to be some way they can mitigate that.
Yeah, it's like a downtown time or something.
No.
If a system can be exploited or gained in any way, someone will do it.
Yeah, and Wall Street will lead the charge. No doubt about that. Okay, so there's no other. Have any other questions? Upstate Carolina Linux User Group.
I don't think so.
Okay, thank you all for coming. I guess we did run out the clock. So, all right, I'll try to get this video published by tomorrow. Talk to y'all later. Bye.
SoutheastLinuxFest.org. See you later.
All right, bye. Oh,
Back into the corner right there.
that one?